welcome you to the beginning of our Gaur Purnima festival. Thank you for being with us, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Temple. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur tells us that these two particular days of the appearance of Lord Nityananda and the appearance of Lord Caitanya are supremely auspicious, because these days are especially blessed with the Lord's grace. Any prayers we offer, any sadhana we perform, any seva that we present is received especially by the Lord. And yeyatamam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamya. This verse is very, very significant in the path of bhakti. That as we approach the Lord reciprocates accordingly. Because love on the transcendental platform is reciprocation. Krishna is Rasaraj, Rasa Bihari. He is the reservoir of all pleasure, and he is the embodiment, the emporium of supreme ras, or spiritual love. Like the sun is shining for everyone. But to the degree we are willing to expose ourselves to the sun, we will actually experience the light, the heat, and the rays of the sun. So Krishna's love is for all. But according to how we receive that love is what will be the experience we have. Srila Prabhupada would tell us if we take one step toward Krishna, Krishna is willing to take thousands of steps toward us. But in this age of Kali, it is so very rare and even difficult to progressively just take those steps toward Krishna. Because Maya, the illusory potency, is constantly in the process of trying to bewilder us to step in another direction. And if we step in another direction, Krishna reciprocates by allowing Maya to take charge. To the degree, with sincerity, with enthusiasm, we turn to God. To that degree, God reciprocates and reveals himself to us. We read about the great King Katvanga. He was told that he would die in just a moment. And in that moment, he surrendered his heart, his soul, his life, his everything to the service of the Lord. He chanted God's name in meditation so deeply with gratitude, humility, and devotion that the Lord revealed to himself in that moment and elevated him to the highest perfection of the spiritual world. Of course, it was not something that he could just do at the last minute. He actually prepared his whole life for that last minute through his service, through his devotion. We read about Krishna when he entered into Mathura. He was there to give the same love to everyone, according to who they were and how they were willing to reciprocate. There was a flower seller. And when Krishna and the Gopas came to his little stall, he saw, this is my Lord, this is my beloved. And he brought the very, very best flower garland he had ever made and offered it to Krishna without expecting anything in return. He didn't ask for blessings. He didn't ask for rupees. He didn't ask for mystic powers or liberation. He just gave it to please Krishna. Samsadir Haritoshana. If he would have asked for liberation, he would have got that. If he would have asked for mystic powers, he would have got them. He was just a poor, simple little flower seller. If he asked for great wealth and a kingdom, Krishna would have given that. He didn't ask for anything. He just wanted to please Krishna with no ulterior motive. And Krishna immediately gave him prema bhakti. He gave him the highest ecstatic love, the perfection of mukti. Mukti is the goal of the Vedic literatures. And we understand from Lord Caitanya and the great acharyas that there are different levels of mukti. The most inclusive perfection of the perfection of mukti is prema, or ecstatic love. Liberation from suffering, liberation from the dualities of material existence that cause the repetition of birth and death is the beginning stage of mukti. But in its fullest experience, it is what the Bhagavatam explains, ahoitiki apratihata. Sabai pung sang paro dharmo yato bhaktir hokshaje. Ahoitiki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme dharma, the supreme perfection of all religions, of all occupations, of all activities, words, and thoughts, is to serve God with love. And what does it mean to love? Ahoitiki apratihata. No selfish, no ego, no motivation, no interruption by circumstances that will come. Simply for the pleasure of the Lord. And anyone and everyone has access to this love. It's not that you have to become a Brahmin or a learned scholar. It's not that you have to be from one country or another. It's not that you have to be healthy or sick. It's not that you have to be on your deathbed or a young child. Just our sincerity. Because that love is within us, simply waiting to be awakened. Lord Caitanya, this was his message. He was singing this song to everyone, without consideration of qualification or disqualification. Jeev jago, Gaura Chandra Pole, Kotabidra Jayo Maya Pisachira Kole. Wake up, sleeping souls, wake up. You are sleeping in the lap of Maya. Chant these holy names of Mukunda, Madhava, Hari. and understand the real treasure of life. Perfection. So in these verses of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, we are learning about who really is Lord Chaitanya. In his previous avatar as Krishna, that little flower seller, he just gave Krishna a garland. But not only that, Krishna had many friends, and every other nice garland he had, he gave to all his friends without expecting anything in return. And this is a very important principle that is revealed in this pastime. That to please Krishna doesn't mean just to please Krishna alone. Madbhakta pujabhyadika. Worship of my devotees is even more dear to me than worshiping me, the Lord says. Just like if you go to the home of a great person, if you please the father and mother but you neglect the children, are they going to be happy with you? Pleasing the children is very much inclusive in the process of feeding, of pleasing the loving parent. And by visiting Srinathji Prabhu's house, I've learned that pleasing the grandchildren is even more pleasing than children. And if there's great-grandchildren, I'm sure it will extend even more. We wish you long life, Srinathji Prabhu. So this Sudama, the flower seller, he knew the art, he knew the science. Vedaishcha saravara hameva vidya vinanta krit veda videva chaham. By all the Vedas, Krishna said, I am to be known. He wasn't a great scholar, but he understood the essence of life, to please Krishna and to please the devotees of Krishna. And he did. Krishna gave him the benediction, any desire you have for the rest of your life will be fulfilled. And after you leave this world, you will return to my abode. Krishna walked down a little, and he went to another shop of a washerman who was washing clothes. And he had nice clothes. Krishna asked him, can you give me some clothes, new clothes? I've just come into Mathura. And the washerman became violently angry at Krishna. Krishna said, give my friend some clothes too. He said, these are the clothes that are made for Kamsa. I am the washerman for Kamsa. I'm a tailor who makes clothes for Kamsa. And you are asking for you and your cowherd friends? You deserve to be killed for this offense. Krishna gave him the same exact chance as the flower seller. Yayatamam prapadyante. He could have attained all desires fulfilled in this life and going back home, back to Godhead in the next life. All he had to do is give a set of clothes to Krishna and his friends. But he refused. Because he was seeing things from a material perspective. From a material perspective, Kamsa's the king. And he's going to give material benefits. And he feared the king. And as far as Krishna, he's just a cowherd boy. What's he going to give me? Well, Krishna gave him something. He took his hand and went, psh, with an effortless little motion of his hand, Krishna cut off his head. Yes? He got liberated in another way. Same opportunity. We have a choice. Do we want to be the washerman? Or do we want to be the flower seller? Every moment we have that choice. Do we want to please Krishna? And pleasing Krishna from a material perspective, sometimes it appears we're losing. Think about it. From a material perspective, that flower man, his best flowers, his life's investment, he was about to give it away for nothing. Some chance was there. But he had faith. And the other man, he had so much to fear if he gave those clothes to Krishna. But he wasn't willing to take that chance. Then Krishna walked a little further, and there was a hunchback woman named Kubja, who was Kamsa's personal sandalwood maker. She had made sandalwood pulp with camphor and saffron, and she was bringing it to Kamsa. And Krishna said, "Give me the sandalwood." Now, she was just an uneducated hunchback. And she saw Krishna, and she was really risking her life. Can you imagine? Kamsa sent Akrura to bring Krishna and Balaram to kill them. Yes? He already sent so many asuras, from Putana to Trinavarta to Shakatasura, Agasura, Pralambasura. He sent so many asuras, Keshi, Aristasura. That's how much Kamsa hated Krishna. He was very powerful. And now he brought them to Mathura to have Chandura and Mustika destroy them. Can you imagine? Kamsa asks Kubja, "Where is my daily sandalwood?" And she says, "I gave it to Krishna." She was taking a big risk. Krishna said, "Give me the sandalwood." When Krishna wants to give you love of God, he usually packages it in such a way that you have to show some real sincerity. You have to be willing to lose a lot to gain the greatest of all things. The name Hari means one who steals away one's inauspiciousness. The only thing Krishna takes away from us is those things that are inauspicious. He will take away our selfish lust and our arrogance, our envy, our greed, our illusions, our anger, to give us himself. Because unless we allow Krishna to clean our heart by Hari, taking away all these inauspicious anarthas, unwanted things in the heart, we can't really understand our love for him. So Krishna told Kubja, "Give me the sandalwood." And she looked at him, and she just, with full enthusiasm and loving in her heart, she anointed Krishna's body with all Kamsa's sandalwood. And Krishna, because she was a hunchback, she was crooked, Krishna put his toes on her toes. This is very intimate. And then he took her by the face somewhere and lifted, and her back was perfectly straight. In America, there's a science called chiropractic. Yes, where we straighten people's backs. Krishna originates every science. He did the first gastrointestinal surgery to Hiranyakashipu. He did the first acupuncture on Hiranyaksha with this tusk. He did the first chiropractic from Kubja, and she became absolutely beautiful and perfectly healthy. And she awakened in her heart was Madhurya Ras, love for Krishna. And Krishna reciprocated. He said, I will satisfy all your desires. Just let me do my business first here. So Krishna reciprocates according to our sincerity. And every moment is an opportunity to manifest what we really want in life. And Krishna within the heart is watching and hearing. Are we grateful? Do we want to please him? Or do we have our own separate agenda? In this beautiful verse, we read how the absolute truth is one. But that one supreme absolute truth is eternally accepting the role of two. We read so many descriptions in the Vedas how Srimati Radharani is manifesting from Krishna. These explanations have to be understood in the context of Leela, because factually we read here that Radha and Krishna are eternally two. So the question is, are they eternally first one and then two? Are they eternally first two and then one? The answer is given here. Achintya. It's inconceivable. We can tax our brains for the rest of eternity. But unless Krishna reveals, nothing can really be understood. Because the absolute truth is beyond the senses, beyond the jurisdiction of the mind or the intelligence. When the jiva is imprisoned within these 8 elements, bhumi, rapo, nalo, vayu, kamano, buddha, evacha, ahankara, iti yame, bina prakritirashtata. The gross body and senses, comprised of earth, water, fire, air, ether, the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, the ego, they have no access to comprehending or understanding that which is beyond material creation. The ahankar and the ego that is influenced by the ahankar, the intelligence, can only fathom things within the 8 elements of material existence, where everything is temporary and everything is limited. No matter how scholarly we are, no matter how much we delve deeply, even memorizing the sutras and the slokas of the scriptures, No matter how much our vivek, our discriminative power, can analyze, neti, not this, but this, not this, but this. I am not matter. Aham brahmasmi. I am spirit. The intelligence can never, by its own power, understand Brahman, because it's beyond our purview. It's not within the realm of intelligence. Krishna can only be understood when Krishna reveals himself to us by his own sweet will, by his own grace. There simply is no other way. Therefore, faith is a critical step toward realization. Not blind faith, real faith. Because everyone, everywhere, their lives are based on faith. A person goes to work and says, I'm an atheist because I don't want to put my faith blindly in some supreme being. But yet, as you're driving to work, you have faith you're going to get to work. And you have faith you're going to get paid. And you have some faith that there's going to be some happiness with what you get. You don't know for sure. It's based on faith. We have faith in each other. We have faith that we're going to live till tomorrow. So everything is based on faith. Somebody goes to college, the first day they have faith that if they do their studies, they're going to get a degree. So we say, isn't this faith beyond your sensory perception? And they will say, but I have seen so many people who have gone to college and got their degrees. But when we study the scriptures and when we read about the histories of the great acharyas and we see enlightened people among us, we realize that there are so many people who put their faith in the spiritual process and they get their degree too. They get Krishna's grace. Adosha tata sadhu sangota bhajanakriya. Rupa Goswami tells us in the beginning of spiritual life there's a little faith. And that faith brings us to understand that by associate with saintly people, my life can be nourished. And in the association of sadhus, in the association of sincere practitioners of bhakti, that faith becomes very, very strong. Nishtha, through practice. So the inconceivable potency of the Lord, we understand from these great acharyas that the Absolute is one. But for the purpose of love, the Lord is eternally two. Radha Krishna, Sitaram, Lakshmi Narayan. Krishna is the source of all other avatars, of all other expansions, of all other plenary portions. And similarly, Radha is the source of all goddesses of fortune. She is the Shakti. Interestingly, this concept that Lord Caitanya taught, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, he is the very personification of this principle to the highest limits. Lord Caitanya explained that we are inconceivably simultaneously one with God in quality, and different from God in quantity. Like the sun, the ray of the sun is one with the sun. It's not different than the sun, giving heat and light. But in quantity, the ray is only a part, and the sun is the complete whole that contains all rays. Heat and fire. Srila Prabhupada likes to use this example. Heat and fire are simultaneously one and different. You cannot separate heat from fire, but at the same time, heat is different than fire. One is the energy and one is the energetic source. So Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the two, Radha and Krishna, become one. Inconceivable, simultaneous one and difference. Krishna is the Vishaya. He's the ultimate object of love. And Sri Radharani is Ashraya. She is the ultimate abode of love. She is the supreme source and origin of all love. Just as everything emanates from Krishna, all love emanates from Radha. She is the feminine aspect of the one supreme truth. Here Srila Prabhupada is explaining in purport that this Shakti, the divine potency or energy of the Lord, is Radha. There are three aspects: Sandini, Samvit, Hladini. Sandini is the supreme existence, that which that sustains the entire existence. Samvit is that energy that gives the power to know and be known. And Hladini, the very essence of the pleasure potency of the Lord. Hladini is the power of pleasure. And that pleasure is in prema. It is in love. And Radha's love is so great, so deep, that Krishna wants to understand the nature of Radha's love. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjana babashani chabutani mam tu vedana kashchana. Krishna tells in Gita, I know everything that's happened in the past, all things that are happening now, and everything that is to come. And I know all living beings, but no one can know me in full. That is Krishna, all-knowing. Sarvasya chaham hridishani vishnoma smriti ragyanam abohanam cha. He is within the heart of every living being. He knows and never forgets any single thought that you have. Any single word that you speak. Any action that you do. Krishna not only knows it, knows what you've done, how you've done it, why you've done it. But the scariest part is he never forgets. So there's good reason to fear God. But Krishna tells in Gita, Sarva dharanam parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papibhyo mokshayishami masaja. If you just surrender to me, I'll deliver you from all the thoughts and words and activities that were not according to his desire. Krishna is willing to forget everything. This was exhibited in the Leela of Jagai and Madhai. They were murderers, they were rapists, they were robbers, they were setting people's houses on fire. They were slaughtering animals, drinking liquor, drinking blood. They were cruel, mean. And Lord Caitanya knew everything they ever did. Even what Yamaraj didn't know, Lord Caitanya knew. And Yamaraj knows a lot. But when they humbled themselves to be the servant of the Lord, and in that spirit chanted the holy names, Lord Caitanya, he took the entire mountain, Himalayan mountain, of all of their past sins and selfishness, and reduced it to the size of a sesame seed, and then just threw it away. Forgotten. Lord Caitanya said, forget anything they've done. It doesn't matter. Now they're devotees. Let us dance and chant with them. You see, the power of the Lord's ability to forgive us is a more important feature than the power of the Lord's knowing everything we do and say and never forgetting. And that is the supreme hope that we all have. Sri Radha's love. The Lord wanted to know, what is the glory of Radha's love? What is it about me that attracts her heart in such a way? And what is the happiness that she experiences when she tastes the sweetness of my love? That was a mystery that even Krishna was exploring to discover the essence of. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that when Krishna, he saw a reflection of himself in a jeweled pillar. And when he looked at it, he was totally mesmerized by his own beauty. Now, to attract somebody who has everything, like in this world, if somebody who's relatively poor somehow or other buys a motorbike and comes into his neighborhood, people are really impressed. Oh, you have a motorbike. But if you drive up to a billionaire's house with a motorbike, he's not going to be very impressed. He can buy every motorbike in Bombay. Yes. Okay, so let me get a Mercedes-Benz. So then you drive into your little neighborhood, people are really impressed. But if you go to the billionaire's house, Mercedes-Benz, I have 20 of them. I could buy 1 million of them if I want. So it's hard to impress somebody who has a lot.